Earth is facing a crisis that we did not see coming, a crisis that we cannot stop. An unknown threat from outer space is heading our way. An external cosmic influence triggers changes within our planet. The core is going mad. Catastrophes on Earth are escalating, and we are totally unprepared. The world is divided. Some want to compete. Some want to fight. Some want to escape. But none of them can agree on what to do to prevent the impending global catastrophe that can destroy the whole civilization. The only way to stop this threat is to unite world's best scientists. But in a world where war and power are the only rules, that is impossible. There is a plan A and a plan B, but both plans are risky. Both plans are uncertain. Both plans demand a price.
Today we will speak about the dynamic of earthquake in Africa and in the beginning of 2024. So we all see different catastrophe happening around the continent, and we wonder, and many people wonder why and how, and what is happening. So today in this show and episode number 2 of the year 2024, we will talk about what is behind the scene. We will be joined today in the studio by our fellow South African brothers who came from different provinces. I will let them introduce themselves, of course, during the show. But live from, outside Africa, we have two brothers. We have my brother from Nigeria, Usanga. I hope that he can listen to me and that is ready to say hi to our listeners and introduce himself. Welcome to our program. Your microphone is still off.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. I'm very happy to be here to share my thoughts with you all. My name is Utuba Usanga. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm a cartographer and a medical geographer. But for Creative Society, what I do, I'm a translator. I'm a simultaneous interpreter. Then I also present here in the radio station. So I'm a radio presenter at once. So it's my pleasure once again to be here. Thank you so much for coming around.
Thank you to have said yes to our invitation. Of course, it's a pleasure to have you on Impulse Radio Africa. And of course, I announced before that you're not alone today. You are with our brother. My brother is, I'm very glad to see you again. Last year we had so beautiful shows. It was very nice to have you, and I'm very glad. So, one, for the new listeners, for the people in the studio who don't know you, can you introduce yourself? Welcome to our program.
Hello, greetings. Yes, I remember our shows. I shared the experience. It was wonderful. So hello again. I'm glad to be here. Hello to Tibe and our listeners and viewers. My name is Boštjan Rančiga and I'm from Slovenia. I'm entrepreneur and also volunteer of Creative Society project where I translate and interpret into my language, Slovenian language. And sometimes I'm a guest on international radio like today, and I'm very glad to be here to discuss such an important topic that we are going today.
Yes, thank you, Bohan. I'm very glad that you are back, and I always like your expertise, and I hope that today you will assist our fellow brothers inside the studio. I will start with the Queen of Africa next to me, Mamelo. Hello, Mamelo, and welcome to our program. I hope that you are ready to find out more about why the planet is shaking and why it's happening to Africa. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for the invite. It's such a pleasure, and I'm so thankful to have to be part of such an uncomfortable conversation here in our landscape of Africa. With that being said, I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna. You really want to ask question? people are embracing the Creative Society and come to this studio with anger, you know. But it's fine. Okay, come down, come down. Let me introduce our brother, because we also have a brother from South Africa here who will introduce himself. Witile. I don't know if I pronounced it correct now. How are you, and welcome to our program.
Thank you for the invite. I would just like to say it's an honor to be here. I have so many questions.
Yeah.
Let's just jump into it.
Okay, let's jump into it. You all listen, and I hope that you also from Africa, you can join the discussion. The show is called Society of Tomorrow, and you can send us an email at info@Impulse Radio Africa, or to the email of the show, what is Society of Tomorrow @impulseradioafrica.online, or you can call us +27 67 666 9150, or you can go straight to the website of Creative Society, what is creativesociety.com. Easy peasy. So let's go to our matter and speak about the dynamic of earthquake in Africa beginning in the 2024. So straightforward, I would like to ask my brother from Nigeria, who I heard you part of, you're a geologist, and I think that you are living in the continent, and you can give us a broad and more, realistic approach of that phenomenon. Please, can you tell us what is happening right now in Africa? Do we indeed are victim or see more of those earthquakes, or is stories? Please enlighten us.
Yeah, thank you so much for this particular question. Let me begin by saying that it is impossible not to notice how the number and power of destructive earthquakes has risen all over the globe, not just in Africa, but all over the globe. If you check, according to the United States Geological Survey, before 2000, there were 1 to 2 destructive earthquakes within the magnitude of over 6. And now they occur 8 times more severe and frequently. And that's very serious. In fact, earthquakes with a magnitude of over 6 have been recorded in all the sensors across the planet since 1964, which makes it an entirely objective parameter. Along the ring of the Pacific Ring of Fire, the earthquake has increased. Before, in the 90s, it was 10,000 of them, but currently 60,000 per year. And the funniest thing, not even the funniest thing, the saddest thing is that there were regions that were not experiencing this earthquake. Currently, there's an increase in that region. Look at Turkey, look at Syria, there's an increase in that region. So this is a very serious problem to Africans and a very serious problem to the whole world. So humanity, the whole humanity is at stake. So that is why we are here today, to bring to light the problem that is caused by this earthquake. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I think we had some glitch in terms of technicality. I hope that our listener got your brilliant introduction. The production said that yes. So thank you for this in-depth. But I would like to say something about what is the current question that everybody always asks, because the way it's perceived in Africa in terms of earthquake, I think we have a different approach in terms of what are the reason and what are not the reason. So I would like to ask it to you like that, in terms of when it happened, for example, in your country like Nigeria, do people understand that is caused by natural signs, or they think that is supernatural sometimes?
It depends on the particular persons involved. When it happened in a particular country, let's say, for instance, it happened in Nigeria, the scientists will say a different thing. And those that believe in some other things will also say a different thing. So it's about the origin of the person, the knowledge of the person, before the person will know, oh, this is the thing that is, because you can't, in a school environment, when earthquake happen, they will tell you the causes of this particular earthquake, and that is what the people believe is the cause of the earthquake. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I'm going now to my brother Burhan, and I wanted to find out, can you explain to us what increase, what change, what are those number of earthquake increasing so since 2024 in Africa? What is happening? Can you give us an overview of the reality behind those new problems that we're facing in climate change?
Yes. First, I would like to emphasize that it's not just this thing that started happening from last year to this year. Yes, but it's going on for, I don't know, from it started in 1996, but it was a slow start, and nobody noticed these changes then. But now everything is growing exponentially. Yes, so that's why now this growth is so noticeable, and this exponential growth is it can worry us because what means exponential? I will if the last year it was 1 and this year it is 3, next year it will be 9 and the next year it will be 27, just for the feeling. That is exponential growth, and that's what we are experiencing. And the cause of everything isn't human influence, isn't CO2 as the mainstream agenda goes in the world for 40 years and we see no result is here except worsening of situation. The true cause is 12,000 year cycle. What does it mean? Every 12,000 years, our planet and the whole solar system gets into the zone of external influence where energy from outer space affects our planet, more specifically the core of our planet. It's destabilized, energy is being accumulated, magma is heating, magma is rising. There are consequences in magnetic field of the Earth, and all these destabilization and the rise of magma and the heating of the interior of the planet is also causing the earthquakes, which are just one manifestations of many manifestations of this instability and this accumulation of energy that we see in form of different natural disasters. Yes, we see floods, we see droughts, half of the world is burning, half of the world is drowning, volcanoes are waking up, including supervolcanoes, and of course earthquakes are becoming stronger and more often everywhere in the world. Practically nobody in this world today is safe anymore in the face of these climate disasters that are so rapidly growing. So we have to act, basically.
Okay. Can you speak numbers? I know you got some statistics that you can share with us. Can you explain to us these different numbers? Because we have a graph here where we see from 1977 to the year 2021. I don't know, Usanga, do you have the? Can you give us some number in terms of so that people can see how exponentially the earthquakes are increasing in Africa?
Okay, thank you so much for this particular question. But what I want to say is addressing, I want to speak on the earthquakes that have happened this year. So you can see how frequent is that it has occurred. If you look at on the 2nd of January, that is 2024, this year, you observe on that day, 2 earthquakes happened in Morocco and DR Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. The one that happened in Morocco had a magnitude of 4.6. Then the one that happened in DR Congo had a magnitude of 4.5. And on the 3rd of January, it's another earthquake happened And on the 4th, it happened again. It happened in South Africa on the 3rd of January and on the 4th of January. The one that happened on the 3rd of January had a magnitude of 5.1, and the one that happened on the 4th had a magnitude of 3.5. Then also on the 5th and the 14th of January, there was an earthquake with a magnitude of 4.5 and 4.9 in central mid-Atlantic ridge. So that to show you that earthquake is happening, and that's very, very serious. If you check on the 15th again, the 15th, it happened in the Roosevelt Island region with a magnitude of 5.1. And also it repeat again on the 19th of January. It also it repeated itself in DR Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, with a magnitude of 4.5. Then it moved to Tanzania. On the 20th, it left DR Congo and it moved to Tanzania. And in Tanzania, the earthquake was within the magnitude of 4.7. When it left Tanzania, where did it go next? It went to Ethiopia. Ethiopia on the 25th of January with a magnitude of 5.4. And there, we had a record of earthquake on the 25th again in north of Ascension Island. It happened there again on the 26th with a magnitude of 4.9. And on the 28th again, it happened in the north of Ascension Island, the British overseas territory of the Saints Helena, Ascension, and the Tristan de Cunha. It happened there again. And now that it happened in these places, do you know when next it will happen? That was just this January that just passed. That to show the rate at which it is going. It's going at a very fast rate. Nobody knows next where it's going to happen. Nigeria is not safe. Kenya is not safe. No country in Africa is safe. That's why we are here today to say we need to act. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Boshan, will you be able right now to give us some explanation in terms of the real cause behind these different sites, the way they move? Is it a pattern? Is it a miracle? Is it by mistake? Can you tell us more in terms of the real cause, and if you think that is basically a pattern, not just a coincidence?
Of course, behind everything there is a pattern. There is no coincidences here. But unfortunately, this pattern is all around the globe. Literally all around the globe. The earthquakes are happening because the magma is rising from the interior of the planet to the outside. And one more thing is important. These are not kind of earthquakes that we were used before, let's say, considering the depth. We were used to shallow earthquakes, yes, and there was a theory that it's because of movement of tectonic plates and that's it. But today we are witnessing earthquakes on the depth of, I don't know, 700, 800 kilometers, where there is no hard matter, there are no plates there, but there are really strong earthquakes so deep. So that is telling us that we are not witnessing just the movement of tectonic plates, but all these earthquakes are the consequence of rising magma. And these are basically cavitation explosion deep in the earth mantle. And these are strong. This is like nuclear explosions with force of, I don't know, 1,000-hour nuclear bombs. So we are literally standing on millions of nuclear bombs now on the planet with these processes, cavitational processes that are going on inside the planet. Of course, the things are happening strongest where the earth mantle is the thinnest. the volcanoes are waking up there, and that's why there is a lot of earthquakes and volcanoes under the oceans, under the sea. Yes, because there the earth mantle is thinner there, but everything is happening also on the land, more frequent. More active are the zones that were active prior, as Utibe mentioned, the Pacific Ring and so on. But actually, it's spreading everywhere. So we can talk about some pattern and say, here it is going to happen, and here we are safe. No, there is no such kind of pattern. We could, of course, better predict all kind of disasters, including earthquakes, if we would want to predict, if we would want to save lives of people. But unfortunately, we as humanity as a whole, I'm speaking, we are not doing this because we live in consumer format, and the profit and the money is more important, is a higher value in today's society than people's lives. Yes, let's say, just for example, Campi Flegrei is being very active. It's a super volcano in Italy. Earthquakes are often there. And the government is hesitating with alarming people, with preparing evacuation plans and such kind of measures, because it would lower the prices of houses and vacations there, you know. We are literally risking people's lives all over the world because of money and because of profit. And that's the tragedy, that's the true tragedy of our humanity today.
Brother Usanga, do you think that we might see in Africa a rise of volcano eruption, as our brother just spoke about, like the Kilimanjaro and other mounts around Africa due to the climate change, or not?
Like I have said already, that there were areas that never used to experience it, but currently they're experiencing it. So I would not want to say, because I'm an African, that we are not going to experience in Nigeria or any other country. Or what I'm going to say at this point is that we must try to save the planet, because we don't know next where it's going to happen. And our country is not safe. So what I'm going to say at this point is that we all hands must be on deck. We must unite to look for a way to remedy the situation, because saying it will not happen in a particular country at this point, it will not be right, because we can see the records. It's keep happening. Those countries never thought it would happen to them. They never thought they could experience earthquake of that magnitude. But every time they keep saying it. Even Zambia, I think Zambia was, I think, on the 28th. So it's also happening in Zambia. So you can see. So we must only prepare, unite, and fight. Because already, to me, I used to say climate is the only common enemy to humanity. Is the only common enemy to us. So if we don't unite as a whole to fight against it, it will definitely have effects on us and may like take our life.
How do we fight it? That is the question that everybody asks. How do we fight a natural disaster? How do you get over that type of scenario? We had, like you speak about, different sites, different places where there is different and planned events. How do we as a human race can be victorious against such phenomenon? And that I would like Bojan to start, and after also my brother Usanga to give me your approach.
Yes, Utibe just mentioned it. The key word at saving this problem is unity. We cannot save this problem, solve this problem by staying divided, fighting each other, fighting for power, and so on, what we do now as humanity, because it's obviously a huge problem. It's the energy from outer space that are destabilizing the core of our planet. And many people say, oh, this is nature, we can't do anything about it. It's such a huge problem. But that is not true. We have a chance, we have all the conditions, we have the knowledge to solve this problem. But we need to unite. First, people need to unite, and then we need to unite our best scientists of humanity, the brightest minds. These people exist, which have knowledge, which has experience, which have know-how that can approach this problem and solve this problem. But the problem is, why don't they do this? The problem is division. Again, these people today are the treasure of their states. They work in hidden laboratories for their armies, developing new weapons. And that's in consumer format, that is normal, because state can only exist if it's powerful. Yes, so we come to a paradox here. We are basically on a verge of extinction as humanity, and we are still using our brightest minds to develop new ways how to kill each other. Well, in a few years, the climate will kill all of us if we don't act now. Isn't this mildly said a paradox, what we are doing? It's unbelievable. So, but we are not too late. We still have time, but very little time. We have no time to postpone, but we have time to act now. But where is the role of us ordinary people? Yes, we say, I'm not a scientist. I can't find a solution to protect our planet from this cosmic influence. We need top scientists for this. But top scientists can't unite if we ordinary people don't make a public demand for a unified international scientific center which will create the conditions for all these scientists for all around the globe to unite, sit together, give them all the resources they need, and to focus to solve this problem, which is the greatest problem we all have. Yes. So we need to unite so that the scientists can unite, and we need to act now. We need to make a public demand for this. That means this has to become a main topic of our conversation in everyday life, in social media, in media in general, and then things will move very quickly.
Thank you. Brother Usana, do you have something to add before? Of course, I see our participant in studio writing notes and having question, but do you have something to add before we give them the time to and the opportunity to ask your question? Do you have something to add in terms of the question that was posed to you before?
Okay. What I want to say specifically is what my brother said, but I want to specify one thing. Some people will likely say, you know, it's a natural disaster. How do you want to solve a problem of natural disaster? But I want to say that scientists are already researching and finding the cause of these things. Earthquake, scientists have already said, okay, these are the causes of earthquake. So definitely all what we need now to solve the current problem is the unity and uniting the scientist community. When you unite scientist community, they will sit down, they will brainstorm, oh, this is what is happening in our world today. How can we solve this problem? Then definitely there will be a solution to it. But before I leave, let me just say, if you study Russia very well, looking at the terrain, you see from the statistics, you will see that there's always a very high temperature. You would see the heating in that region, but have you asked yourself from 1990 to let's say 2021, have you seen there's a reduction, statistically, there's a reduction in natural disasters? How come that thing happened? How come that it happened? If you check, you will see that there's a reduction from 1990. If you check, it was very high, but it reduced, it keep reducing. Even from 2013 to 2014, check occurrence, storm, flooding, it reduced. It was because there were scientists who were there to study the cause and also provide solutions to those things. So I believe that if we unite the scientist community, definitely the world will be a better place for us and for our children. Thank you.
Thank you for this sweet answer. I hope that the guys and the sisters in the studio who are taking notes get some information. So I don't know who want to start. Do you have a question? Okay, do you have a question? So let's start with Witile. Witile, what is your question and what you want to ask? I think our brothers are online and ready to answer. So yes.
Well, I'm from a place where volcanoes, mountains,
Can speak a bit louder so that we
yeah,
can catch it.
are not visible, you know, to us. So my understanding of volcanoes are a volcano is like how can I put it? Exhaust pipes, and the core is the engine. Does that mean there's more magma being produced by the core? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Okay, anybody who want to take it? Pause. Yeah.
Yes, I can answer. It's actually not about more magma, but it's about more energy. Yes, this destabilization of the core that we mentioned, this caused a planet to rotate a little bit faster. Yes, not much in numbers, but in such huge mass that the planet represents, it brings big consequences. What that means? First, because of the incoming energy from outer space, the core is heating up and the magma is heating up. So it's more fluid. Because of the faster rotation of the planet, the volume of the planet has increased over the equator, yes? And the cracks consequently appear. So, because of the faster rotation, the more liquid magma, the magma is pushed from the inside to the outside. So, and hotter magma has bigger volume, yes? And all this together causes magma to keep coming towards the surface and making bigger and bigger pressure to the surface. Because of bigger volume, you know, there are also one thing called cavitational processes. Yes, the volume has increased, and when the volume quickly increases and the pressure drops, the gases are released from the magma, and again this again increases the pressure, and magma is pushing towards the surface. It's like, you know, when you have a bottle of mineral water and you shake it and it's a big pressure inside, and then you open it, it pushes out, and it's the same inside the earth. Yes, when one volcano erupts, it's like opening this bottle of mineral water. It's the cavitation, the gases are released, and the pressure is even bigger inside of the earth. So I hope that's in rough understandable, that it's not about more magma, but the different processes that are causing magma to push out towards the surface.
Okay. I hope it satisfies you. Let's go to Mamelo because Mamelo's been shaking her head. Mamelo, do you have a question? And what is your question? And I think that will be my brother Usanga will take it. Yeah, what is your question?
I'm so thankful to be on the platform. With that being said, I wanted to ask something. We speak about like a cycle of life, and there's specific things that happen on the earth, regardless of if we play a role or if humanity plays a role or not. And I wanted to ask something. In terms of what role, in terms of the earth already suffering, or what the importance of them minimizing the earth, I mean the human isn't it the reflection that's going on in heaven, I do something about it. Okay, so what I was trying to ask is, in terms of a tremor and earthquake, if there's no plates in South Africa and we still feeling the repercussions of an earthquake, why are we suffering, irregardless of the fact that we don't have to suffer, based on the fact that a tremor should be a small reflection of an earthquake? Is it showing that maybe there's a plate that is starting to show itself based on our irresponsibility in our society in terms of pollution and what we're doing going forward? And what can we do to minimize what is going on in terms of the floods as well in certain parts of Africa, especially southern parts of Africa?
I don't know if Usanga, did you get the question? Your microphone is still off. Can switch on your mic.
Yes, it is asking about why there is still earthquake in South Africa. If I got her correctly, is she trying to talk about the anthropogenic because it was cracking? I think the network was epileptic, so I wasn't getting that clearly. Is she asking about the anthropogenic, like what? Just I really want to get the points.
I think she's more concerned in terms of the fact that South Africa doesn't stand on the plaque and still have the repercussion of earthquake. So she wanted to know, are those earthquakes due to the fact of mismanagement of human being in South Africa, so that that's I think what you say. So that's what you want to say is, how come we don't have a plaque in South Africa, like a magmatic, what you call that again?
Yeah, we're feeling the wrath
Yeah.
we're feeling the wrath of an earthquake, even though we're not on the plate.
Yes.
Yes, the earthquake plate.
So
in terms of
how do we
earthquakes.
justify that? Is it due to the human mismanagement of the planet, or
It's our time.
it's just about time?
Okay. But first, I just want to say that earthquake is primarily energy released from the interior of the planet. That's the first thing I need to say. And a steady increase in earthquake in your region, especially when there is a large magnitude, indicates that there is more energy from inside the planet. And if you also, if you've heard of, let's say for instance, nanoplastic, the ocean is meant to save us, but human have already polluted this particular area that should already benefit and restore or help the planet. So when you look at South Africa, there are two things involved when you're talking about the earthquake. You talk about time. We have already talked about in the 12,000 year cycle, a lot of things happen. Yes, yes, it's true. But also on the other hand, there is energy that is released from the core, and this also affects the planet. So I will suggest that a lot of management strategies must be put in place. That is why I said, like now, since this is happening in South Africa, and we can see from the record, so what the South African, or what the leadership of the South African must do, he needs to call the scientists to sit them together to know the causes, because the causes now we're looking at the 12,000 year cycle, and we are also looking at the induced factors, because once you mismanage the planet, you mismanage the environment, definitely you have these problems. So for South Africans, them, the scientists must sit together, and definitely there will be a solution to that. Thank you.
Clarification, we'll go quickly to a commercial break and come back with the matter of the cycle, because it's something that we speak about, it's something that the Creative Society also speak about, and we will come back on that note. And I think that you have your question ready. So if you want to have the talk with our show, Society of Tomorrow, please feel free to join us and send us an email, and we will join you just after the break.
Earth is facing a crisis that we did not see coming, a crisis that we cannot stop. An unknown threat from outer space is heading our way. An external cosmic influence triggers changes within our planet. The core is going mad. Catastrophes on Earth are escalating, and we are totally unprepared. The world is divided. Some want to compete. Some want to fight. Some want to escape. But none of them can agree on what to do to prevent the impending global catastrophe that can destroy the whole civilization. The only way to stop this threat is to unite world's best scientists. But in a world where war and power are the only rules, that is impossible. There is a plan A and a plan B, but both plans are risky. Both plans are uncertain. Both plans demand a price. A price that will change our lives and the fate of humanity forever. It is time for us to pay the price. Now it is your turn to take action. Global crisis. Responsibility. Watch at creativesociety.com.
And we are back live in South Africa from Lone Hill. And we are speaking about the dynamic of earthquake in Africa. In the studio, we have Witile from South Africa Northwest, and we have Mamelo from Gauteng, I presume. Yes. And on the line, we have Bojan and Usanga, who just need to come back. I don't know how long he's going to be gone, but we are back in the studio. So we will start with you, Bojan, in terms of the cycle, the 12,000 years cycle. The fact is that all those cycles, we've been traced it in the history in terms of the Maya calendar and all other civilization, and none of them managed to stop what should have happened. So my question will be to you will be straightforward. If our ancestor didn't manage to stop the end of the time or the cataclysm situation that they were facing at this time, do you really believe that being together, using our resource together, we're speaking about AI, new technology, and other movement in terms of science, do you think that having this advantage can prevent us of extinction? If yes, can you elaborate?
Yes. Thank you. Not just that I think that, but I am 100% sure. I know that. What happened in the previous cycles? There, we are truly right now in unique situations. There were cycles every 12,000 years. In previous cycle, the so-called civilization of Atlantis was destroyed, yes, and also it happened in previous cycles. But life remained on the planet. That is true. A lot of species went extinct, a lot of people died, but always life remained on the planet. But now we are in situation which is different from those previous cycles. And it's similar like it was on Mars 2 cycles ago. And we see what happened on Mars and how Mars looks like. Yes, there is no life on Mars. And if we don't do anything, our planet in 12 years will share the same destiny as Mars. That literally the same thing will happen as happened on Mars 2 cycles ago. Why? My interlocutor already mentioned it. Ocean is the main compensatory mechanism of the planet during the cycle. Why? Because his role always was through the previous cycles to be a conductor of this energy, of this heat, which is accumulating inside of the planet, to transfer it to the atmosphere and through the atmosphere to the out of space. So it was a cooling mechanism for the whole planet. But we have been producing plastics for last 50, 70 years, and practically all the plastics that we produced ended up in the ocean in the form first plastics, then it dissolved into micro and nanoplastics. And today there is practically not a drop of water in our planet where the traces of plastics in forms of micro and nanoplastics can be found. And these micro and nanoplastics change the properties of the water, and ocean is no longer capable of conducting this heat from inside of the planet to the universe. So instead of being a cooling mechanism, the ocean is today like a blanket for the planet and is holding all the energy inside the planet. And this energy has to go somewhere, and it will go outside in the destructive way for all of us. Yes, today with 99% probability, we can say that there will be a hydraulic impact in the deepest point of our oceans, that is in Mariana Trench, and where this hot magma and this enormous amount of ocean water will meet, it will make such a huge explosion that will literally blow away our atmosphere, our oceans, and that happened on Mars, and this is it. By uniting, there is 8 billion of us, and we as people, as we unite and give all our intentions, all our resources, all our knowledge, and all our potentials in saving this problem, protecting this planet from this external source in the first phase, and in the second phase for building creative society, then we can not only survive, but we can thrive for a long, long time on this planet. Because, we have to understand what this energy is when in the time of cycle comes to the planet. It's just an energy, it's an impulse of light, which reinforces what already exists. And if we exist as united civilization, directed in a creative way, it is a huge opportunity for us for very quick and very big progress as a civilization. But now we live in consumer format with all the processes inside of us, in society, in everything, everywhere we look, are destructive nature. Yes, and this energy just reinforces this destruction. So it's not the question, can we do it or can't we do it? It's a question, what will we choose? Will we choose to remain living in this destructive way, divided, developing weapons for domination one over another and killing one another, or we will choose different path of creation, path of unity. And if we do that, we not only can survive, but we can really become civilization, united civilization in the true meaning of the word, and thrive as civilization, and use this cycle and next cycle for even faster and bigger progress. So it's just up to us and our decision and our actions.
Okay, I don't know, Utile, do you have a question? Yeah, you can go ahead.
What's your perspective on weather manipulation?
Yeah, you want to know what is the okay? I don't know, so, brother Usanga. Did you hear the question? Your microphone?
No,
Yes.
no, I didn't hear that. I
Can
didn't
you
hear
repeat it a bit louder? For
What's your perspective on weather manipulation?
Okay, my perspective on weather manipulation. But first, before I like to answer your question, I would like you to explain. Just say what you mean by
what?
the weather manipulation. Yes,
What do
because when you when you I
you,
want to
is
understand.
it? Yes, I understand where you're from, brother. Do you mean that?
Yes,
Is it more weather manipulation that the fact that there is a cycle and that the planet is producing more energy that it should be? So you think that it can be manipulated by men and that all those earthquake and climate change,
okay.
that is, I think, where it's coming from.
Yeah, that is why I wanted to confirm if that is what as a Nigerian, when somebody says manipulation, so we know what it definitely means.
Okay, let's go.
But in this case, concerning my perspective on weather manipulation with regards to the climate catalysm that are happening, I would definitely say there is nothing like manipulation here, because scientists we would speak with facts and figures. So there's nothing manipulative about it. Every 12,000 year cycle, this definitely happened. And if you check, definitely that's what is happening. So when you talk about weather manipulation, no, it's not there, because even the earthquake. That's why I said earlier when I was addressing the South African question, I said this earthquake is already as a primarily the energy released from the interior of the planet, meaning that when like my colleague have already said, the ocean was already meant to be like, what do I say, a reservoir to water the planet, to make the planet alive. But because of a lot of nanoplastic, you already have done by polluted the ocean, that would have been a way of giving back to the planet. So when you talk about manipulation, there's nothing manipulative about the planet.
Mamelo, do you have a question? Or yes, what is your question?
Very uncomfortable. In most cases, every year, celebrities and very esteemed millionaires and billionaires always gather together and they talk about raising funds around going to Africa in terms of climate change. And it doesn't seem like Africa sees the consequence or the work they've done within
The
our
benefit.
society. Yet we don't seem like we're benefiting based on the media presence in our landscape. But also another question that I want to ask after that I'm done. I want you to think. I asked another question. Do you not think the reflection of how the Earth is a reflection of how the ecosystem is supposed to be, regardless of climate change? Like we spoke about the 12-year cycle. That means there's going to be a specific dynamic or like a specific change that's going to happen regardless of what we do. And if, regardless of all the finances that we put in our countries and our earth in general, and we put all our resources, it should be uncomfortable to say that the earth is going to change. So Mars is going to maybe take over. There's going to be another ecosystem. It's a cycle. So I wanted to ask, basically, do you not think it's a cycle, regardless of how much economical, maybe people are trying to benefit, or scientists are trying to benefit from the fact that they're trying to create a scarcity level or uncomfortable dynamic of the people around to say that the earth is going to end or something.
So you think it's a manipulation?
Manipulation, once again.
Okay, let's start with the first question, and I think the first question was
Financial,
straightforward.
yes.
In terms of, and I know the Creative Society is against that, the consumer system, and I would like to Bojan to answer to this question, who was like, we see a lot of NGO organization, we see a lot of stars, it's it's a media, sorry, and we see amount of money being pulled together, but every time that we see those catastrophe happening in Africa, we don't see those money coming here and help the people. Our government usually are left alone to face, but it's always seeing outside there in the name of Africa, 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 let's put money together, but nothing is happening. That is basically, I think, what our guests here want to find out. And I know that Creative Society denounced that, so I will like to the listener to hear that from you, Boyan.
Yes, that's true. But I have to emphasize something else. Now that the disasters are happening all over the world, now we can see that this is not happening only in Africa. This is happening in America, in Asia, in China, in Europe, everywhere the same story. Yes. When disaster happens, there is no help. People get no help. They are left to help each other. Yes, there is, but let's say that is normal for consumer. We have to be aware that we live in a consumer format of society. Yes, where the money is the highest value, power is the highest value, and human life is somewhere much lower. Yes, in the in this hierarchy of values, and we need to change this because it's only about us and how we are organized, the society. Look, and this consumer format is full of manipulation, yes, but 12,000 year cycle is not a manipulation, it's a fact. It's a scientifically proven fact, and if we look out the window, we see it's a fact. That's one view, and that is the truth. And on the other hand, we have to be aware that in consumer format, fight for power, for new weapons, for domination is endless. So of course there are tries to develop new weapons, to develop even climate weapons. And this is impossible to stop in consumer format, because this is the base of consumer format, fight for power. It's not going to stop. Or because of this cycle, the consumer format is over. We have to be aware. Now we just have to decide either we will end our existence together with consumer format, or we will do everything to unite, first unite our scientists to get ourselves time, and then unite and build creative society where the human life will be the highest value. Yes. So
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Because we're running also out of time. It's so short. I think people have a lot of questions. And let's go with Usanga. And I know the question make you laugh by saying this is an African approach when they say, you know what, my brother, don't you think that it's time to go? Why are you fighting to stay here? Maybe it's time to Mars. What do you have to say? What do you have to say about that? Yes, brother, go ahead.
Yeah. It's not time to go. It's not time to go. No. You know, like he have said already, we live in a consumerist format of the society. Everybody's looking at power, money. But I want to say something before I forget. It's high time Africans should rise. They should forget about, when something happens to Africans, they'll be waiting for help somewhere. And somewhere we just stay there and say, we are helping the Africans out, but they are not helping them out. So Africans, we should rise up to stand. We should rise up to stay united, because already we live in a consumerist format of the society where some people already they want to hold on to the power. They don't care about other person's life. So we need to unite as one, and we need to be responsive. Like we need to, from looking at the causes of these problems, we should try as much as possible to also adjust towards solving this problem. It will not be a problem if African can organize scientists, like the African scientists, African community. They come together to sit down to say, oh, what is happening to our planet? Then when they profile solutions to it, an African solution, definitely that will go a long way to help. But when you're waiting for somebody outside to say, oh, I want to come and help, or maybe they get money and they don't come and no. So I think it's high time Africans stand together to unite and to definitely look for a solution to the African problem.
Well
Thank
said,
you.
my brother. That is what we believe on the Impulse Radio. So before you close, please give us what you think about the question of our sister here. Is it time to let go? Is it time? Is it a cycle? So it's a cycle, nah? So maybe it's the time of another planet. Can you just jump on that so that we give both of you can give the final word for the show today, so that we can wrap up.
Okay. Thank you so much once again. You want to say it's not a time to let go. It's not a time because that's why I keep. When I started, I mentioned Russia. If that's why I said, if you study Russia, be it that people are saying, oh, there is earthquake here, there's earthquake. Study Russia. Let's say from 1990, as I've said already, till let's say 2019, and study again from 2019, especially 2013 to 2014. You will see that the disasters drop. Why did the disasters drop from 2013 to 2021? Why did it drop? It's because scientists were already on ground to work to a proper solution to this. So it's not time to let go. It's time that we unite as a family. It's time that all the scientists come together to unite and provide solution. Definitely.
Okay. It's time to unify. It's time to,
Yes.
to do stuff together and become one. That is basically the word of our brother. So, Brojan, to close, do we have a way forward so that people can, wrap it up? What will be the way forward? Us together, as the brother just say, unifying to solve and try to survive to the, the end of the time.
Yes, actually, I would have two recommendations for the end. All these disasters, first, it's very personal, let's say, what to do in these times, because these disasters come suddenly and always surprise people. So we have to be aware what's going on and be prepared to survive today and tomorrow if disaster strikes. So everyone should prepare a few things. I don't know, shelter, some food, something to take with him if he has to run quickly. Truly, it can be a difference between life and death, and also create a plan how to act. Talk with the family about it, how to act if some disaster strikes. Yes, because if you don't have a plan, if you don't think about it, and the things are good, when something bad happens, it's just the panic is left in the head, and then you can't do anything good, and it can really mean a difference between life and death. But in general, if we don't unite our scientists, if we don't start to talk about it, to create the public demand, we don't have a chance to survive what is coming. No one of us.
Thank you.
Not African.
Thank you for those.
No.
Yeah.
So talk about it.
Yeah, thank you for those wise words. Thank you, brothers, to join us today on Impulse Radio Africa. It was a pleasure to have you, Brother Usanga and Brother Burhan. I hope that you come back and for another topic. Thank you also, Mamelo, to join, and thank you, Brother Witile. And we hope that Africa, for once, will be up to date. Sometime we always wake up when it's late. It's time to unify. It's time to be aware of the changes. You understand what I mean? It's time to prepare, and like brother said, to have planned, because when you surprise, it's not a good thing to go. So on that note, we're saying bye-bye, and thank you to be listening and watching from all around the world to the best channel ever online, IMTV, and we will see you next week, in 2 weeks, with our next episode of the Society of Tomorrow with me, Tengi. I sign out. Bye-bye.
Earth is facing a crisis that we did not see coming, a crisis that we cannot stop. An unknown threat from outer space is heading our way. An external cosmic influence triggers changes within our planet. The core is going mad. Catastrophes on Earth are escalating. And we are totally unprepared. The world is divided. Some want to compete. Some want to fight. Some want to escape. But none of them can agree on what to do to prevent the impending global catastrophe that can destroy the whole civilization. The only way to stop this threat is to unite world's best scientists. But in a world where war and power are the only rules, that is impossible. There is a plan A and a plan B, but both plans are risky. Both plans are uncertain. Both plans demand a price. A price that will change our lives and the fate of humanity forever. It is time for us to pay the price. Now it is your turn to take action. Global crisis. Responsibility. Watch at creativesociety.com.